The conflict in eastern Congo has reached a critical turning point, with the M23 rebel group, backed by Rwandan forces, capturing the strategic city of Goma. In a bold statement during their first press conference on Thursday, the rebels declared they were here to stay, raising fears of further territorial expansion and even a possible march towards Kinshasa, the capital of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Congolese government has labeled this takeover a declaration of war by Rwanda, further escalating a crisis that threatens to destabilize the entire Great Lakes region. But to truly understand this crisis, one must look beyond recent military actions and into the deep historical roots that have made Eastern Congo a battleground for decades. The origins of the violence can be traced back to the 1994 Rwandan genocide, when nearly 1 million Tutsis were massacred by Hutu extremists. After the genocide, Tutsi rebels led by Rwanda's current president Paul Kagame took control of Rwanda, prompting hundreds of thousands of Hutu refugees, among them vis-a-vis genocide perpetrators, to flee into eastern Congo. This mass displacement ignited conflicts that have since evolved into a deadly web of proxy wars, ethnic rivalries, and struggles over control of Congo's vast mineral wealth. Rwanda, Uganda, and other regional actors have repeatedly intervened in eastern Congo, often using rebel groups as proxies. The March 23 movement, otherwise known as M23, was formed in 2012 by Congolese Tutsi commanders as a successor to earlier Tutsi-led rebellions. The group's name refers to a 2009 peace agreement that its leaders claim the Congolese government failed to uphold. M23 briefly seized Goma in 2012 before being driven out by Congolese forces and United Nations peacekeepers. After nearly a decade of dormancy, the group relaunched its rebellion in 2021, citing the same grievances. But the group's military offensive and the capture of Goma is another thing to know. By early 2022, M23 had seized significant territory, including a critical border crossing into Uganda. Their offensive continued northward and encircling Goma by January 2023. Over the past year, the group expanded into South Kivu province, ultimately completing its encirclement of Goma and launching a final push into the city in February 2025. Goma, a city of over 2 million people, has long been a focal point of conflict, serving as both a strategic economic hub and a gateway to Congo's lucrative mineral reserves. Now with M23 in control, the group has gained access to key trade routes and valuable mineral smuggling corridors into Rwanda. A 2024 United Nations report estimated that at least 150 metric tons of coltan, a mineral crucial for electronics, were smuggled into Rwanda by M23 last year alone. M23's leaders claim they are fighting to protect ethnic Tutsis and other minority groups against a Congolese government that they accuse of fostering discrimination and hate speech. They also demand the return of Congolese Tutsi refugees, many of whom have lived in Rwanda and Uganda for decades. However, Kinshasa dismisses these justifications, branding M23 a puppet of Rwandan interests. President Felix Tshisekedi has vowed to retake Goma, declaring, and I quote, "We will fight and we will triumph." But again, could this be a Rwanda's shadow war in Congo? Rwanda's involvement in the conflict remains an open secret. According to multiple reports by independent United Nations panels, Rwanda has provided material and logistical support to M23, with Rwandan troops operating in North Kivu alongside rebel fighters. Some estimates place the number of Rwandan forces in the region at around 4,000. Also, drone imagery and intelligence reports have captured evidence of Rwanda's soldiers crossing the border into M23 controlled areas, while advanced military hardware, including mobile air defense systems and precision-guided munitions, has been deployed on the battlefield. The United States, France, and the United Kingdom have all acknowledged Rwanda's direct military role, though Rwanda has never publicly admitted to any involvement. Rwanda's President Paul Kagame, often praised in the West for transforming Rwanda into an economic success story, has long been accused of using proxy groups like M23 to extend his influence into eastern Congo. Critics also argue that Rwanda's true objective is to secure continued access to the region's vast mineral wealth, which fuels its economy and tech industry. Rwanda, however, has insisted that the conflict is more complex. Kigali argues that the presence of the Democratic Forces of the Liberation of Rwanda (FDLR), a Hutu rebel group that includes remnants of the 1994 genocide perpetrators, poses a security threat. Rwanda has further accused the Congolese army of collaborating with the FDLR, a charge that Kinshasa continues to deny. But as it stands, many are concerned that the Congo crisis might be a looming regional conflagration. The capture of Goma represents a major turning point that could reshape the region's political and military landscape. The DRC has already severed diplomatic ties with Rwanda, and tensions are escalating. Observers also fear that a full-scale war between the two nations could draw in other regional powers, as Uganda, Burundi, and even Angola have vested interest in Congo's conflicts. The humanitarian toll is also staggering. The United Nations has warned that the situation in Goma is dire, with hundreds of thousands displaced and reports of human rights abuses mounting. The city, already strained by decades of war, is once again on the brink of catastrophe. With M23 vowing to push further and the Congolese government pledging all-out war, the question remains, is Central Africa on the verge of another devastating regional war, or will diplomacy find a way to defuse the crisis before it spirals out of control? Thanks for watching, and if this is your first time on the channel Politics and Power Play, please make sure to hit on the subscribe button to enable us do more quality content on politics around the world.